Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, dollar has gonna yagi.
So back then, you know of one pickleball court. It's monopolized by the pickleball mafia. You can't get on it. But today, is pickleball like pretty big in India and certain areas? Like, do you see the same growth there, at least where you are, as in the U.S.?
I feel we're still a couple of years behind,
Mm-hmm.
but yes, it's picking up. It's probably one of the biggest sports in India right now, just a lot because of the learning curve, that it's so much easier to get decent at and play with friends.
Yeah.
So that's why it's picking up as fast as it is. Plus, infrastructure is not that with the cost of infrastructure is not high. So there are a lot more courts. You see a lot more courts now. I could probably, but they never free again. I could
They're
probably
never free?
I have to book 1 week in advance to
No
get a
way.
booking.
But there aren't any like makeshift courts where there's like a slab of cement you throw down lines?
No, there's no space in Mumbai for that.
Yeah, right. So it's so crowded that like
Interesting. Like you
if-
couldn't just play some street ball?
yeah.
Really? Okay. I was thinking that could be like like in COVID here, a lot of people started putting, courts in their driveway. I'm sure there's not too many driveways in Mumbai, right? Like I get that. But like,
Wait, maybe just give us like a little teach us here.
Okay.
What's it like growing up in Mumbai? Like give us and then you can talk about how it
So
relates to
Mumbai is really crowded.
yeah.
It's a really fast-paced city. There are not a lot of driveways.
not too many driveways. All right,
There are not
noted.
a lot of houses. All of them are buildings, and you live in apartments.
Have you been to Manhattan in New York?
I haven't actually.
So the closest thing I can
It
think
could probably be as close to
Yeah.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
Yes, that's one place I've not been to in the States yet.
Mm-hmm.
One of the many. But yeah, so it's really fast-paced and it's congested. But at the same time, you've got enough room for yourself.
Right. Okay. Yeah, but even in like Manhattan, there's parks and stuff where you can throw down lines. But you're saying basically like if there's space to be able to create a court, somebody's charging money for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There's no... I think there's probably not a lot of open play options unless you're a member of a club. That's the closest open play option you have.
So does that create like a situation where when you do go play, everybody is playing pretty consistently and a little bit better than maybe if we go to, there's a court down the street here. If we were to show up there's no way we're getting a good game, right? It's people who like, it looks like it's the first time they're swinging the paddle, but the courts are always packed.
So yeah,
it's different.
It's pretty similar. You have to book a game with your group to get a good game.
Okay.
And we generally play at the most off hours so that we can play. We probably play from 10 a.m. up until noon or 1 p.m. where we can play. And in India right now, we've got probably a good set of 15 to 20 people who playing at a decent level.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are people who are trying and they're getting better.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I said, they need a structure. They need people to help them. They need the infrastructure. Because if I have to wait about 1 week to get a court, it's just difficult to keep doing that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine. All right, we're all getting older. Tough to maintain that energy. And you might be like me where you'll try caffeine, you do some energy chews or something like that. But let's talk about Mitapure because I think it's a unique solution to the decline of energy, especially when it comes to playing pickleball. It's a health supplement that's in a class of its own. It's not your average supplement. It's designed by over 15 years of dedicated scientific research to go straight to the source of age-related decline, your cells. And it gives them the energy they need to renew themselves and keep you feeling younger and stronger for longer. So it's not the Band-Aid solution, right? It's the long-term solution. Here's just an interesting fact, okay? In just the first 2 days of use, mitophagy begins, and after 2 months of use, muscle endurance increases by over 17%. Overall muscle strength increases by over 12% after 4 months of use. So it's a lot different than taking that energy supplement the day of. This is a long-term solution to fixing your energy, stop being sluggish, play more pickleball. And by the way, for those wondering, because I was, Mitophagy is a process that removes damaged or unnecessary mitochondria from a cell. To save 10% off your first order of MitoPure, go to timeline.com/dink. That's timeline.com/DINK. Okay, so in India, are there any paddle brands that people are using that we wouldn't know in the US? Or is there any like equipment that you guys are using that I'm trying to get like some inside scoop here.
There are a lot of Australian paddle brands that they're using. Have you heard of Hustle?
No, is it spelled just like normal, Hustle?
HUSDL.
HUSTL?
Yeah.
Hadn't heard of that one. We know Black Diamond from Australia.
Yeah, they use the 60.
Oh, 60 is Australian?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Then they use Standout. That's Australian as well.
Don't know that one. All right, sick.
So they're using those. None out of India yet.
Yeah, are there? Yeah, that was gonna.
Hustle's got that looks like the ruby to me.
Yeah, that looks just like the ruby.
Yeah.
They're hustling.
Okay.
That's a literal.
Then they've got the Standout.
Standout Pickleball?
Yeah.
It's a paddle brand?
Yeah. I think these are the brands that are coming from. But you'd most likely see Yola being the most popular.
Yeah.
And then going down to probably Selkirk next.
Right.
You won't see a lot of. I think Pro XR is making a move in there now.
Mm-hmm.
But you won't see a lot of Gearbox yet. Or, Battletech.
Yeah.
Any of that right now.
I wonder if the development of paddle brands in a company or in a country is a good indicator of how far along they are in their pickleball trajectory, right? Like, I had never actually really thought about it. Like, I know there's a couple of Canadian paddle brands. I know there's a million US paddle brands. I knew that there was Black Diamond. I didn't know how many Australian brands there were. Like, I wonder if that is an indicator of how far along a country is in their sort of timeline. Because I think that Australia is probably the third most developed market, I would have to guess. Like US, Canada, then Australia.
I would probably say US. I'd put India second.
India second.
I would put India second. I think we are all neglecting China.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just because we don't know so much about it.
Right, it's tough to get insight.
We don't have a lot of insight about that. We're neglecting that, but that could probably take over, I think, a lot more rapidly than India did.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody should go see what they're up to over there.
I think so.
Like, you guys, hey, Lee. So what are you guys doing with that pickleball stuff?
I was talking to Pran, though. We mentioned him. And he runs Pickleball World Rankings. He runs Pickleball World Series. He's the one who put on PWR Masters. I was talking to him about manufacturing equipment for in India, for example, where you can't charge as high of a price, right? People can't afford a $300 paddle. This is what Pran was telling me. And so what that means is they're going to have to retail them at a lower price, which means they're going to have to find cheaper manufacturing, which means it's going to be more of a challenge to actually get a paddle manufacturer up and running in India, given the difference in costs and the ability for people to afford equipment, right? So it might, just going back to your question, it might not be the best barometer of growth in certain countries, whereas in maybe like a China, it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'd be curious, like, why, like, okay, I understand why it might be difficult for Pro XR or Yola or any of these companies to sell in India, but that wouldn't prevent somebody from India from starting their own brand with, like, cheaper cost of labor and whatnot, right?
No,
like,
I get what you're saying.
If they're manufacturing there.
If they're manufacturing
here,
there,
I can go
yes,
start
yes.
a paddle brand, and I can go on Alibaba right now and get a manufacturer that manufactures for some of the top paddle brands you guys know, by the way. I can get those paddles for $10, and I can sell them for $200, maybe, right?
I think it's not the purchasing power that's the issue. I think it's getting it to India, which is the issue. So I'd be probably spending 60% of how much I buy the paddle for on customs.
Okay.
So that's where the problem is. The problem's getting the paddle to you. The problem's not buying the paddle.
If you buy a paddle from Pickleball Central, okay, and they're going to ship the paddle to you, like you just buy one off the site, is there a big extra shipping cost that you have to pay?
There's a shipping cost and there's a custom charge that I pay. So I would probably pay, let's say I buy a Yola, which is $280. I probably pay 53% on custom duty and then whatever the shipping charges are.
Damn,
That's wild.
that's not nothing.
Sounds like they like in
$400
some of these,
paddle.
Yeah, and sounds like in some of these markets you just need like somebody should start a factory.
Some bootleg,
Right.
Like this could be bootleg opportunity.
Right.
Maybe the pickleball mafia could also.
No,
be
I think
bootleggers.
if it just gets to China and everything's just being sourced out of China to Asian countries, it gets a lot more easier, right? So because India is really close to China again, and just delivering from China is not going to be very difficult.
Well, that goes, but so that's a good thing then.
That's
Like-
a good thing. Like that's what I'm saying. Like
But there are tons of manufacturers in China making
Correct.
paddles right now,
Correct.
like high end, cutting edge technology paddles. So I don't know. It's all interesting. I think we're a little bit out of our depth here, but
That's why we're learning, Thomas. We're learning. All right.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, rather had fun.